Hi everybody. This is my discussion post. So my name is Kim, and this week I'm reflecting on the role of listening and feedback in relationships. So in both my personal and my professional life, I've seen how powerful true listening can be. It's easy to assume that we're all good listeners, but I've learned that there's a difference between hearing somebody and actually listening to be able to understand them better. So an experience that stands out to me happened in a professional setting. So I work closely with families and caregivers. And there was a time when a resource parent felt frustrated, and this was due to a placement situation that I caused. They felt unheard and overwhelmed, and initially I instantly went into problem solving mode. And I started offering suggestions, next steps, how can we fix this, before I fully understood how they were feeling. And so as the conversation continued, I realized that they weren't looking for immediate solutions. I think that they wanted to be heard with what was happening and how they were feeling. And so I slowed down. I started to ask more open-ended questions. I started to reflect back to them what I was hearing, and I tried to really acknowledge their emotions. So I tried to say things like, it sounds like you're feeling, unsupported right now. And then I would pause and I would give them some space so that they could respond to that. And I found that shift in the conversation made a difference. So their tone softened. They started to become more open with me. And the conversation, I felt like, turned more collaborative instead of tense, which a lot of times it can be. So in that situation, listening strengthened the relationship, and it helped to build trust. So the resource parents later shared with me that they appreciated being able to speak openly without feeling judged or without feeling like they were being dismissed. And so that moment reminded me that listening isn't passive. It's an active way of showing respect and care for somebody. So there's definitely barriers at first. My own was my instinct to fix things, like now. I need to fix it now. And in fast-paced environments, which sometimes tends to be my office, it can feel like we need to have answers immediately. Another barrier was emotional intensity. So when someone is upset, it can be really uncomfortable. And then their discomfort sometimes pushes us to respond too quickly rather than sit with them in what they're saying to us. And so we overcame those barriers by slowing down and clarifying expectations. I asked what kind of support they were hoping for, whether they were looking for advice, advocacy, someone to simply hear them out. And that simple question created clarity, and it prevented further misunderstanding. So what I learned from the experience is that listening is foundational to healthy relationships. Feedback is important too, but it's only effective when somebody feels heard first. So when people feel understood, they're much more receptive to guidance or constructive feedback. And so listening builds psychological safety, and then that safety allows relationships, whether it's personal or professional, to be able to grow stronger. So overall, this experience reinforced for me that strong relationships aren't built on having all of the right answers. They're built on presence, empathy, and the willingness to truly listen to somebody.